Today we have Mojtaba Fadavi. Mojtaba graduated from Isfahan University of Technology in 2020, where he focused on curve-based cryptography and computational number theory. He later joined the Department of Computer Science at the University of Calgary, working with Professor Safavi Naini on hash-based digital signature schemes. He's currently a postdoctoral researcher here in CNO with Sam, who's notably not here, and sorry, he has a good reason to not be here. And his research interests include hash, isogeny, lattice, and code-based cryptographic scheme design, curve-based cryptography, full homomorphic encryption, zero-knowledge proofs, and computational number theory. And today he's going to tell us about hash-based digital signatures, an overview with a focus on group signature schemes.
Hello, everyone. Yes, my talk is about hash-based digital signature schemes with a focus on group signature. Finally, at the end of the presentation, I'm going to talk about our recent paper joined with Arash Azimi, Sabyasachi Karati, and Sam Jakes. Feel free to stop me everywhere that you have question. Okay, doesn't work. The outline of talk is, my talk is presented in 3 parts. The first part, I talk about digital signature schemes. In the second, I talk about hash-based signature schemes. Hash-based signature schemes are categorized in 3 class: one-time signature scheme, multi-method signature schemes, and few-time signature schemes. And the last part is about hash-based group signature schemes. I review the concept of group signature schemes. After that, I talk about post-quantum schemes, and finally, hash-based group signature schemes from the starting point, that is G-Merkle, till the last work, that is DGSPR work. Yeah, what's the digital signature? Suppose that Bob wants to send a document to Alice and wants to convince him that he is really sending this document. Bob has 2 keys, private key that he only knows it, and the public key that everyone knows. Bob signed the message using the public keys and send it over the internet, and easily after, if the document is verified using the public key of Bob, Alice knows that it was sent by Bob, really. Okay, but formally, a digital signature can be defined by 3 algorithms: key generation, signing, and verification. In key generation algorithm, we randomly select 2 keys, secret and public keys. Using the secret and public keys, we can sign a message called M, and the output is signature. This signature is verified based on message and public key, and outputs 0 and 1. It stands for false and true. Every digital signature provides authentication and integrity. Integrity comes from the fact that the signature is based on the message, so the message cannot be changed. And authentication comes from the fact that only, for example, Bob knows the secret keys. And every digital signature has to satisfy 2 properties: correctness and unforgeability. Correctness means that the signature that is generated by owner of secret key will be verified. And unforgeability means that an adversary with bounded computational ability cannot forge a signature. There are many types of digital signatures: threshold signatures, group signatures, ring signatures, blind signatures. They are used in their own specific space based on the requirement of the, for example, companies. Okay, the last part is about, every time that we connect to the web, we are all familiar with HTTPS that protect us over the internet by encrypting and authenticating our traffic. For example, there is a cipher swift in HTTPS. For example, TLS 1.2 has this structure. Every cipher swift has 4 parts: key exchange protocol. The first part shows key exchange protocol. The second part, for example, in TLS 1.2, it is elliptic curve Diffie-Hellman ephemeral key. In the second part shows the authentication method, that here we have elliptic curve digital signature schemes, and we have a encryption scheme based on a mode of operation, that in TLS 1 point it is AES 256 based on CBC, and the last part is MAC that uses a hash function. Okay, so every day, maybe every hour, we are using digital signatures. The first part is used for generating session keys for encryption systems. The second one is used for authentication. As we said, digital signatures provide us authentication. And the third one is for confidentiality by encrypting messages, information, and the last one is for integrity by creating message digest. Okay. The second section of this talk is about hash-based signature schemes. We have a family of hash functions shown with HN. We say that this hash family satisfies previous resistance if randomly selected hash functions from HN, if for every randomly selected hash function HK from this family and every randomly selected X from its domain, the success probability of finding a second X in domain shown with X star with the same hash value as the hash value of H of X is the same, is negligible. The second property is second previous resistance, that is for a randomly selected hash function and a randomly selected X from the domain. The success probability in finding another X in the domain with the same hash value is negligible. Notice that the difference between these two one is that in previous resistance you are given Y, but in the second previous resistance you are given X. So you can compute H of X yourself. And the last property is collision resistance, that says for a hash, for a randomly selected hash function from this family, it should be N, the success probability of finding X and X star from the domain with the same hash value is negligible. Preimage resistance is the weakest assumption, so it's harder to break, and the collision resistance is the strongest assumptions. And you can see the time complexity of attacking these problems here. We can consider two classes, classical attacks and quantum attacks. Yes. Notice that in classical attacks, there is a big difference between attacks to SPR and collision resistance, but in quantum attack, it is the same. Okay, why hash-based signature schemes? Right now, we are using traditional schemes like RSA, elliptic curve, DSA, and Schnorr signature, which are all vulnerable to large-scale quantum computers. So they are NIST is replacing them with post-quantum schemes. I think before 2020, LMS and XMSS, which are both hash-based, were standardized. Recently, crystal dilithium and Sphinx Plus were standardized, and Falcon is going to be standardized in close future. Crystal dilithium has a signature size around 4 kilobyte, and Falcon its signature size is around 1 kilobyte. And Sphinx Plus its signature size is between 30 and 50 kilobyte. But why NIST standardized these signature schemes where its signature size is many times larger than crystal dilithium and Falcon, because hash-based signature schemes, their security relies only on one-way functions. Constructing schemes based on one-way functions is difficult. And it's a reason that we don't have many primitives based on one-way functions. For example, we don't have encryption systems based on one-way function. We don't have blind signature based on one-way function. Constructing schemes based on them are difficult, and if someone can break hash functions, all of the other schemes will be broken. So, even though the signature size in hash-based signature schemes are larger, NIST still wants to standardize it. A few years ago, NIST-based crypto systems, key exchange schemes, was broken, although it was assumed that it is post-quantum. Maybe it happens one day based for lattice-based or code-based schemes. Hash-based signature schemes doesn't depend on number theoretic assumptions such as integer factorization, discrete logarithm problem, shortest vector problem, learning with error, and group actions. There are three variants of hash-based signature schemes: one-time signature schemes, few-time signature schemes, and many-time signature schemes. Using one-time signature schemes, you are allowed to sign only one messages. Otherwise, you will compromise the security of the system. An adversary can forge a signature. With few-time signature schemes, from these signature schemes start with the work of Lamport, and after that was improved by Winternitz. I will explain Woods. Few-time signature schemes, clearly you can sign few-time, maybe 5 or 6 or 10 messages, but more than that, you will compromise the security. Right now, Horse is the most plausible scheme in this area, in this group. And many times signature schemes, you can sign more signature based on their structure. For example, you can sign around 2 to the power 16 or 2 to the power 20 with XMSS, but using XMSSMT, you can sign up to 2 to the power 64 messages. The same for Sphinx Plus. You can sign up to 2 to the power 64 messages, but the difference is that these three first schemes are stateful, but the last one is stateless. I will explain that this important difference in later. Okay, let's review Winternitz signature schemes, one-time signature schemes. From now on, I call it Woods. In Winternitz signature schemes, we generate some secret keys. Corresponding to each secret keys, the whole part is called secret key. Corresponding to each SK1, SK2, SK3, we have a hash chain to public key, to its public key. And remember that we have a Winternitz parameters here and a security parameters that is 256. This public key is published, and when the signer wants to sign a message, he first computes the hash value of the message and chunk it. Based on the chunked value, he selects one of the node in each chain. For example, here it is 0, so it selects SK1. In the second place, we have 14, so it selects this one, and so on. Remember that this length is 15. But what's the role of this part? The right side of the image. This part protects us from forgery. How? Suppose that we don't have this part. Okay. if someone finds a message which is digest is lower than green parts, he can easily compute the one-way functions. F stands for one-way function, and H is a collision-resistant hash function. That adversary can compute the one-way function over signature. The signature is shown in green nodes, and for the signature, for his message. So what's the role of this checksum? Its role is that if someone, it is computed in a way that if someone can find a message that stands below the green nodes, the adversary has to come up and compute the other side of one-way function, which is impossible. And so he cannot make a forgery for his message. Okay, let's explain it more formally. We have two parameters, winterness parameters and security parameters. We compute two values, length 1 and length 2. Their sum is shown with length. We have a secret keys, which consists of length and secret keys, and their corresponding public keys, which, as we show in the previous slides, is the omega minus 1 times of f over sk, as is shown here. And to sign a message, we first chunk it, write it based on omega, and compute the checksum. The checksum is omega minus 1 minus mi, I from 1 to L1. And right now, the message that is going to be signed is this one. The signature is as was shown, is the green nodes in this image. Okay. So if someone finds a message which is first part is larger than this one, this value goes down. It means that in previous image he can go up to forge a signature. He can go up to forge a signature. Okay, this is Winter needs one-time signature, but remember that Winter needs one-time signature. Its signature size, its public key, its secret key for these parameters is around 1K kilobyte, and it signs only one message. It is not good to publish a public key, one kilobyte public key for one message, for signing one message. This is what prompted Merkle to introduce Merkle trees. In a Merkle tree of height h, every leaf node corresponds to one one-time signature. And the leaf nodes are the hash value of the public key. So here we have 8 secret and public keys of one-time signature, which their public keys are hashed and generate the leaf nodes. The leaf nodes are concatenated with each other, and its hash value is computed here, and so on. To sign a message using for example, these leaf nodes, indexes are start from 0. So to sign a message using the leaf nodes, forced leaf nodes, the user compute the signature using the secret key of the corresponding leaf node, and not only publish the signature of this message, but also publish the index and the authentication path. So he can sign 8 messages per public key at the cost of adding an index and an authentication path. This index and authentication path doesn't affect the signature size too much. This is the idea behind Merkle trees, how Merkle trees help us to sign more messages using one-time signature per public key. This is the idea behind XMSS. But as I said, but constructing a Merkle tree takes time. For example, constructing a Merkle tree of height 16 takes around 15 minutes. And if you add one layer, I mean that the difference between a Merkle tree of height 16 and 17 is the time that is required is 2 times. So we cannot extend it to large Merkle trees, for example, for example, height 64 to support 2 to the power 64 messages. It prompted the other scientists to introduce XMSSMT. In XMSSMT, they work with multi-layer Merkle trees, where each Merkle tree, we have a D-layer Merkle tree, and each layer is signed with the corresponding leaf node of the upper Merkle tree. So for signing a message, we sign it using this, using the Wood signature, using the Wood secret key. We have an authentication pass from here to the root of here, this layer Merkle tree. We have a signature on the root of the Merkle tree using the corresponding leaf node, and so on. So to support 2 to the power 64 signature per public key, we can easily work with 4 Merkle trees of height 16. And every time that we finish, we run out of the leaf nodes of the lowest layer Merkle tree, we replace it with the next one, and so on. Yeah, this is a this was, yeah. But what about the few time signature scheme? Few time signature scheme, hash-based signature scheme. This figure shows force. In force, we have 2 main parameters, K and A, where K shows the number of Merkle trees. Here we have 6 Merkle trees, and A is the height of Merkle tree. So K here is 6 and A is 3. To sign a message, this is a toy example, and it's not secure. But to sign a message, you use a hash function with the output of Ka bit and chunk it to K part. And for each part, you publish the corresponding secret key of this Merkle tree with its authentication pass. To verify this signature, you can easily compute the public key corresponding to the secret keys, compute the root of this Merkle tree, do the same for the other ones, and use the tweakable hash function to compute the force public key. And force public key is published. You can compare it with the published one, check that the signature is valid or not. Yeah, that's it. Okay. And as the last hash-based signature schemes, and the most important one, I want to talk about Sphinx Plus. Remember that here, someone who wants to sign messages has to track the leaf nodes and sequentially use the leaf nodes. That's the reason it is called a stateful. And if, in such a system, if he uses one leaf node 2 times, he compromises the security of the system. So a stateful is not a good property for hash-based signature schemes. That's the reason Bernstein, Halsing, and other guys introduced the Sphinx Plus based on the work of Goldrich. Traces back to 1986, I think. They introduced Sphinx Plus. Sphinx Plus, the topmost part of Sphinx Plus is the same as XMSSMT, but the lowest part is they use force because to sign a message, they select a random leaf nodes based on the message and sign it using the random leaf nodes. Yeah, but why they used few times signature scheme, force as a few times signature scheme? Because if for one where we have 2 to power 64 leaf nodes in a Sphinx, if one leaf node is selected 2 times, if we don't use few times signature scheme here, and we use, for example, woods here, if we select a leaf node randomly 2 times, we lose the security. But if when we use few times signature schemes, it doesn't happen. So the structure of Sphinx Plus is like that, as you see. It is stateless. The signer doesn't need to track the leaf nodes. He selects randomly leaf nodes based on the message and the random values. And the scheme supports 2 to power 64 signature. Its signature size is, as you see. We know all the parameters. H is the height of the scheme. It is 64. K is the number of Merkle trees in force. A is the height of them. D is the number of layers. Length is the Woods parameter, and lambda is the security parameter. I forgot to change it. It should be n. Sphinx Plus has 36 variants based on the hash function that is used in it, based on the security parameter that they use, based on the structure of the Merkle trees. Not a structure, height of the Merkle trees, and the computation that they use to select the leaf nodes. Okay, let me talk about S and F. S and F shows the height of the, stands for short and fast. In short case, we use larger Merkle trees here. We have few layers. But constructing larger Merkle trees takes more time. And even though the signature size reduces, it takes more time. On the other hand, fast, in the case of S, the height of Merkle trees is about 7 and 8. But in the fast case, the height of Merkle trees is 3 and 4, or 4. And the Merkle trees are smaller, and they can be constructed faster. But the signature size is larger. I said that the signature size of Sphinx is between 30 and 50 KB, kilobyte. That's because of this structure. That's because of this different value that we select. It's based on us. To want to have a short signature or we want to have a faster scheme, it depends on us. And yeah. Okay, let's start hash-based group signature. Cham and Van Hayes in 1991 introduced the concept of hash-based signature scheme. In normal digital signature scheme, every secret key has its own public key. But in group public key, in group signature, all the signatures are verified using the same public key. So you cannot find the signer based on their public keys. Okay, let's discuss it with more details. Cham was looking for a scheme that allows user to sign messages anonymously on behalf of the group. But there is a designated authority that can revoke their anonymity in case they misbehave or deviate from the schemes. It ensures accountability for schemes. So a group signature provides you privacy, but at the same time, you have accountability. And if you misbehave, you will be revoked from the group. There are 3 types of group signatures: static, partial dynamic, and fully dynamic. In a static case, the membership is done in the setup phase. The scheme cannot add or remove user after the setup time. In partial dynamic, we can either do joining or revoking, and in fully dynamic case, we can add and revoke user without system-wide update, without updating the whole systems. A group signature has to provide, instead of two property of correctness and unforgeability, has to provide also anonymity and traceability. It means that from the signature you cannot find the signer, but in case that he misbehaves, you can trace him. Okay, but let's see a real world scenario. Suppose that the CNO head of the department aims to evaluate applicants' eligibility anonymously but verifiably. So the head of the department is the group manager of the system. Oh, I forgot to say that there are 3 types of entities in the group signatures. A group manager who manages a group, some users, and a verifier. So the head of the department is the group manager. He gives secret keys to the user, to the faculty members, and they can sign, they can evaluate applicants anonymously. But in case that one of the faculty members misbehave, he can reveal his identity. And votes can be authenticated, they can be verified, but yeah, as I said, the head of the department can reveal his identity. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, let's look at the post-quantum group signature schemes. Up to now, these are the main important schemes based on lattice-based, code-based, isogeny-based, and hash-based signature schemes. As you see, constructing fully dynamic group signatures is difficult, and most of the other schemes are static. There is a lattice-based group signature, but it's almost impractical, so I didn't add it here. In most of them, their signature size is variable, depends on the number of users in the group. In many of them, they cannot support larger scale group. For example, in isogenies, they didn't provide any information about groups with more than 2 to the power 10 users. And but we are looking for a scheme that has signature size, fixed signature size, and can support large number of users. It's important for us to have a fully dynamic group signatures. In fully dynamic systems, constructing them are more difficult, but we don't need updating systems. Okay. There are 2 approaches for constructing hash-based group signature schemes. In the first approach, we have one trusted manager. In this approach, in these schemes, for example, GM, DGM, GMMT, and DGMT, all follows this approach. The manager manages membership, add, revoke users, distribute secret keys among users, open signatures, revoke them, and usually a multi-layer Merkle trees is used, and a strong pseudo-random permutation or symmetric encryption is used for encrypting some identities, some values for each user to provide, to allow traceability to the system. And the procedure has joining to add a user. He should request for keys. He should first join the group, request for keys, and yeah, each signature consists of an encrypted value that allows traceability. Okay, but let's go to the details of some schemes. In G Merkle, they use a Merkle tree. It works like that. Users generate their own secret and public keys. They send public keys to the manager. Manager uses a strong pseudorandom permutation to permute the leaf nodes and add an encrypted value shown with zeta. MSK is the manager's secret key. ID, suppose that our Merkle tree has 2 to power suppose that the Merkle tree has height 16, so it has 2 to power 16 leaf nodes, and suppose that n is, for example, 2 to power 8, so the internal nodes is divided between 2 to power 8, so each one receives an interval of height of length 2 to power 8. Each one receives this interval, his own intervals. But these intervals are permuted, each element in these intervals are permuted, and leaf nodes are shuffled. And the public keys, after placing public keys here, the Merkle tree is constructed. And so because of this permutation, and the leaf nodes of each user is given to him. The index is given to every user. So because of this permutation, adversary cannot find the identity of signer. And because of the encryption system that we have here, the manager can decrypt the value of zeta and find the identity of the user based on his interval. This is the idea behind G Merkle. Its opening is revocation. For revocation, they use a revocation list. Its opening is all the algorithms are efficient, but its problem is that it is static. It supports 2 to power 16 signatures and at most 2 to power 15 user. But it's efficient. It's a start of this area. After that, the other guys improved their scheme by using multi-layer Merkle trees. In multi-layer Merkle trees, they can add revocation property to their schemes, and they can support more signatures, but they have still the same problem of restricting number of users. Again, their signatures algorithms are efficient, and signature size is short, is about 10 kilobyte. After that, DGM was introduced. In DGM, they use an innovative idea of using, instead of multi-layer Merkle tree, they used 2 kinds of Merkle trees: an initial Merkle tree and a unique initial Merkle tree, and many signing Merkle tree, SMTs. These SMTs are linked to the internal node of the Merkle tree, and they generate a fallback key. Fallback key, in fact, is the encrypted value of fallback node F and I using the key of RT. So to verify a signature, okay, this scheme has short signature. It has innovative structure. It is fully dynamic. User can be added to the group and removed from the group. And signature size is like that. There is an index I that shows internal nodes of the IMT, L prime that shows the permuted leaf nodes, index of the permuted leaf nodes. There is a one-time signature scheme with its public key. There is an encrypted value zeta TL and a fallback key and an authentication pass. Authentication pass consists of one from here to here or from here to here and one in the initial Merkle tree. But the problem is that in this scheme that makes it inefficient is that fallback keys needs to be verified by the group manager. It means that the group manager needs to be up all the time to verify signatures. So you know it's meaningless because if the group manager wants to verify fallback keys, it means that he's really verifying signature himself. Why? It's meaningless. In addition, in this scheme, to support 2 to the power signature, it needs 10 to the power 8.7 terabyte storage, which is too much. Too much. because not only the manager needs to store all the encrypted values to have opening, but also have to store all the fallback keys. Okay, it's not acceptable. Okay, anyway, but the problem here is that they also introduce a notion of puncturable encryption. They use it for revocation that we show in our work with Sabiha Sachikarati, Aylar Erfanian, and Safavi Naini in my previous paper that we can solve this problem. How? Okay. The problem here with fallback keys is that to support 2 to the power 64 signature, we need 2 to the power 62 fallback keys, roughly. But the problem is that they are using a small signing Merkle trees, here. If we use multi-layer Merkle trees here, we can reduce the number of fallback keys. And if we reduce the number of fallback keys in the setup time, the manager can generate all of them and publish it. So we don't have interactivity in verification. So this problem is solved using multi-layer SMTs. We call it SMTMTs. This is 2 example. And its opening problem was solved also. So again, we have short signature. We have non-interactive verification. Our algorithms are efficient, but we have a problem of setup time. We also cannot support more than 2 to the power 15 users. And another problem with this scheme is that manager has to manage many SMTs at the same time. It is not acceptable again. So it prompted us to look for another solution based on Sphinx. Okay, before introducing our schemes with SamJX and other guys, let's review the other approach. In other approach, which is called Sphinx in the head, they use 2 important concepts. Okay, first let me say why we need group signature schemes that supports large group size. For example, DAA, I forgot its real complete name. DAA, what is it? Okay, I forgot its name. There are some schemes that needs group size, large group size. For example, Intel EPID is one of them that is used in CPUs, and from 2008 to 2016, they generated 2 to the power 33 EPID. EPID is a variant of group signature. But in this scheme, they have several managers. Their security model is stronger. They have several managers, one for issuing secret keys, one for tracing users, and one for revoking. Their security model is stronger, but their algorithms are still inefficient. I will show you. They use two important concepts, MPC in the head that allows sharing information among virtual users, virtual parties, and non-interactive zero knowledge, which allows proving having some knowledge without revealing it. They use these two important concepts for designing their schemes. But my main problem with this scheme is that against their claim to supporting 2 to the power 60 user, their opening algorithms is amazingly inefficient. To open a signature, the complexity time, their complexity is of order of users. So it means that to open a signature for a system that supports 2 to the power 60 user, you have to compute 2 to the power 60 pseudo-random permutation, PRF, pseudo-random functions, and compare it with the value that is inside the signature. So that's the reason they didn't implement their opening and revocation. And their signature size is non-constant. Okay, let me show you. Yeah, this is a result of our paper, our recent paper called DGSP with DGMT and SITH. See, SITH signature size is around 3 megabytes, while our schemes and DGMT has a short signature. They're joining, signing, they are in order of second. In our case, they are in order of milliseconds and less than millisecond. And yeah, their implementation is incomplete, but their security model is more powerful compared to us. Their scheme is stateless. Our schemes is stateful. They don't provide forward anonymity. Forward anonymity means that in security game, the adversary cannot corrupt users. But it can be done in our case. We can allow the adversary to corrupt users after signing. In DGMT, we have no, we haven't this property, but we have here. It can be modified to satisfy, but we didn't mention it. And keep in mind that this information is for the case that DGMT supports 2 to the power 27 signature, much less than our case and SITH. So yeah, this shows, I believe that this shows superiority of DGSP over DGMT and SITH. And remember that DGMT, I didn't add the setup time in this table, but DGMT needs around 6 hours for setting up their systems for 2 to the power 27 signature, 6 hours, while our schemes can be done in milliseconds or in some seconds, not milliseconds. Yes, so our scheme is scalable. It supports 2 to the power 60 users. It has efficient algorithms. It has short signature, and it has forward security. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this is my last slide. I want to discuss about it. Consider Sphinx here, and two main property Sphinx has. Sphinx doesn't need permutation because leaf nodes are selected randomly. And its Merkle trees are constructed on the fly. So we don't need to store anything. They all can be constructed on the fly. These two properties are so important. Suppose that the group manager has two secret keys, MSK1 and MSK2. The group manager generates a secret credential for each user. After joining a user with name, username of name, with his name, the manager gives him an identifier, ID, and he stores a counter for this user, a flag, and his name in his state. This stands for state of manager. Flag can be active or revoked. It shows that the user is active in the group or has been revoked. And the group manager computes CID based on his master secret key and the identifier of the user. He doesn't need to compute store these values because it can be generated because this information is stored in the ID's entry in this list. So the manager generates CID, and using this CID that is called secret credential, manager generates CID star, which is the hash value of ID and CID, and gives CID to the user. Using this CID star and ID, user can authenticate himself to the manager. And on the other hand, he cannot find CID because finding CID shouldn't be possible for anyone. It's so important to keep it secret. And to sign a message, I explained this figure, and after that I explained algorithms. To sign a message, user first randomly selects some strings, lambda bit strings, compute its hash value, generate a Woods plus keeper based on his username, user seed, which is secret, known only by the user, the computed value, row, and the secret value R, and the address. I didn't go into the details of tweakable hash functions, but this information are required for tweakable hash function. They are used as the salt and key of tweakable hash functions, if you are familiar with that concept. Public key is sent to the user. In addition, we suppose that the manager knows this user, knows that he's really ID, user ID. He sends public key to the manager. Manager computes an encrypted value for the user and some extra information. And based on this information, based on the public key of the user, based on the encrypted value, and based on tau, the manager generate a certificate using a random leaf node here. Because it's a random leaf node, it provides anonymity for the scheme. And because of this encrypted system, which is a part of signature, manager can trace the user. So the manager generates a certificate based on this string, consider it as a message in Sphinx. He generates a signature, a Sphinx signature, and sends a certificate which consists of a Sphinx signature, encrypted value, and pi. It sends it to the user. Okay, user only stores RID and user ID. He recover row ID here, that is used here, regenerate public and secret keys, and recompute the public and secret keys again, compute the hash value of the row with the message to compute M, and he can write now, he has a message, he can use a Woods signature here, See, the difference between DGSP and Sphinx is an extra layer of woods here that is used here. It's an extra layer of woods. That's the reason that signature size of DGSP and Sphinx Plus is almost the same. Okay, the user signed the message based on the extra layer of woods here, and his signature, right now his signature would be the wood signature, rho, zeta, sigma, and tau. Okay. To verify this signature, if you remember, we can find the public key of the woods plus or woods based on the signature and the message. To verify this signature, manager use the signature of woods to recover the public keys, and based on that public key, zeta and tau, he can verify the Sphinx signature. Okay. So the signature can be verified easily. To revoke a user, we have a value here, counter. Each user has a counter. This counter shows how many signatures you have received up to now. So to revoke this user, the manager can easily add all the encrypted value of these users that are encrypted value of ID and J is from 0 to IDM or 1 to IDM. He easily add this encrypted value to the revocation list, so its revocation algorithm is efficient. To open a signature, the group manager easily decrypt this value and find ID. So again, opening is efficient. We have an extra algorithms compared to DGMT, that is judge. In judge, group manager, after finding the ID, can again easily compute using the CID that is secret, can compute first, compute CID and compute pi. Having pi, PKI, and ID allows anyone to check that this signature attributed to the correct user. So we have an efficient judge algorithm here. If you notice, tau is a part of signature. So using tau, when the manager, in judge algorithm, in fact, manager reveals publish ID and pi, and using this information and the tau, that is the last part of the signature, everyone can verify that this signature attributed to the real signer. Yeah, and this is the benchmark of our schemes for the case that we are using shake as the hash function. We use hash function of length 256. Our scheme is simple and short. Signature size is around 31 KB, and you can see that all the measurements are in microseconds. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right, do we have a quick question or two?
Okay, so for the so basically, what specializes, like what makes hash-based signature schemes, or particularly yours in this case, what is the name again?
SITH or
no, yours, the
DGSP.
DGSP, plausible. Again, in comparison to other post-quantum alternatives, like for example, isogeny-based ones they're nice because they have short keys. Code-based
Code-based have a very, very large signature size.
Yeah, I know
much
that's
is
the
it?
case. So what about yours? I mean,
Yeah, our signature schemes is about 30 kb. It's the same as Sphinx.
So how is it? How does it like scale in comparison to lattice-based ones,
You can
like
find it
dilithium?
here. For example, this lattice-based schemes, which is static, it is not fully dynamic. It's so important to be fully dynamic. It is static, and its signature size is 200 kilobyte. It's a good question for those who are looking for good questions in designing schemes to find the practical lattice-based group signatures with short signature size. It's important to have a fixed signature size, and your scheme supports unlimited.
The size is 203 kilobytes.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at it, I mean, for example, is this not like which signature is that? Like
I don't.
For example, there are other ones like the lithium, there's like other schemes which like they require around like 5, 6, 7 kilobytes for key size.
Remember that you have some extra requirements such as anonymity and traceability. It makes constructing efficient schemes difficult. Yeah.
All right, one last quick question because we're out of time.
Yeah, please.
A very similar concept to group signatures are ring signatures, where you don't have a group manager and just sign with respect to a set of public keys.
Yes.
Can you build also ring signatures with similar techniques?
It's a very good question. I think so, but no. Actually, I remember that I thought about this problem. If you remember, at the beginning of the my talk, I said that constructing schemes based on minimal assumptions is difficult. It was proven that constructing blind signatures is impossible. I believe that. I guess that. I'm not sure. I think that it's impossible for ring signature, but there is no proof. You can check it. It's a good question.
All right, let's thank Mojtaba again.
Thank you.